Imagine solving intergalactic crimes with your best friends in a spaceship that looks like it might fall apart mid-flight. And worst of all, it talks back to you. Yeah, this was a real cartoon. Somehow, it's one of the strangest, most charming, and most forgotten shows of its time. And after rewatching it, I have thoughts. If you grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons in the late 70s or early 80s, there's a decent chance you've either seen this show or completely forgotten it existed. That makes sense, because Rickety Rocket wasn't even its own full show. It was just one segment inside the Plastic Man comedy adventure show on ABC in 1979. And despite only running for 16 episodes, this weird little sci-fi mystery segment stuck in people's brains. Mostly because of one very important detail. A talking spaceship named Rickety Rocket. Already sounds like a bad decision.
Will take shape as a pile of junk turns into an out-of-this-world scientific marvel. Rickety Rocket, blast off! It's Rickety Rocket and the gang.
Cosmo, Splashdown, Sunstroke, Rickety Rocket.
Before making this video, I actually went back and watched a few episodes. I gotta be honest, this is one of those shows that's a very casual watch. Like, I'm not sitting down going, oh man, I need some Rickety Rocket right now. This one is more like, it's on, there's nothing else on. All right, let's see what happens. And honestly, that vibe still kind of holds up. The setup is simple, but also completely ridiculous in the best way. 4 teenagers run a space detective agency. They call themselves the Far Out Detective Agency. And they solve mysteries across the galaxy. So far, pretty standard cartoon logic. But here's where things get weird. Their ride, their partner, their most dramatic team member, it's a living, talking rocket ship. And every time they take off,
Rickety Rocket, blast off!
which sounds cool, until you realize your ride is literally named Rickety. The vibe of this show is basically Scooby-Doo in space. Group of young investigators solving mysteries, chasing bad guys. Except instead of haunted houses, you've got alien worlds and futuristic cities. And every episode follows a familiar pattern. Something weird happens. They investigate. Things get way weirder. And then they figure it out. But here's the thing. This show doesn't demand a lot from you. It's simple. It's easy. It's the kind of cartoon you half watch while eating cereal. It's not must-watch TV. It's comfortable, weird. The team itself is pretty classic. Cosmo feels like the leader. Sunstroke, he's the brainy one. Splashdown brings the humor, and Venus rounds things out. But let's be real. The star of this show is not the detectives. It's the spaceship. Rickety Rocket talks, reacts, complains. He might have more personality than everyone else combined. Now here's where things get a little more complex. Because on one hand, Rickety Rocket did something important. It featured 4 African American teenagers as the main heroes. And in the late 70s, that wasn't common. That kind of representation mattered. It helped open the door, even in a small way, for more diverse characters in animation. But going back and watching it now, you can also tell it's a product of its time. Some character portrayals, some voice choices, some of the humor, it feels a little outdated. I found myself watching it thinking, yeah, I can see how back then this probably felt normal, just like a lot of cartoons from that time. But today, it lands differently. And that doesn't erase what the show was trying to do right. It just means it's part of a bigger conversation about how animation has grown and how representation has evolved. I think that's what defines Rickety Rocket. It's not something I'd go back and binge, but it is something I'm glad I checked out. It represents a time when cartoons were just experimenting, throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what stuck. Somehow, a group of teen detectives in a sarcastic spaceship actually worked. At least enough to be remembered. So if it was this unique, why did it disappear? Simple. It didn't last long. It was part of a larger show, and by 1980, it was gone. No major reruns, no revival, no streaming deal, saving it 40 years later. And being that kind of casual watch show didn't help. It wasn't loud enough to be iconic, not polished enough to be rebooted. So, it just drifted off into space. But even with all of that, the weirdness, the simplicity, the parts that didn't age perfectly, Rickety Rocket still matters. It reminds us of a time when cartoons were a little messy, a little experimental, a little weird. And that's where a lot of creativity lies. Because let's be real, any show where you solve space crimes with your friends and a sarcastic, possibly unreliable rocket deserves to be remembered. Looking back at Rickety Rocket, there are a couple of big takeaways that really jumped out to me. First, let's be honest. This show is basically Scooby-Doo in space. So were a lot of cartoons from this time. Hanna-Barbera found a formula that worked, then proceeded to photocopy it about 100 times and drop it into different settings. Haunted houses? Check. Race cars? Check. Outer space? Why not? As long as you had a group of teenagers or kids, a colorful non-human sidekick, and some kind of mystery to solve, you had yourself a Saturday morning cartoon. And you know what? We ate it up. Children of the 70s and 80s were incredibly easy to please. Give us a mystery, a weird mascot, and a catchy theme song, and we were locked in. Nobody was sitting there demanding deep character development or complex story arcs. We just wanted cartoons, and Hanna-Barbera was more than happy to provide them. But there's one thing about Rickety Rocket that stood out to me more than anything during this rewatch, and that's Venus's voice. The moment I heard it again, I immediately thought, yeah, that voice. If you've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one of those voices that somehow gets permanently stored in the back of your brain. You may forget the plots, you may forget the villains, You may even forget the name of the show itself. But the second Venus opens her mouth, it all comes flooding back. It's distinctive. It's unforgettable. And after all of these years, it might be the single thing from Rickety Rocket that survived in my memory completely intact. So what about you? Do you actually remember Rickety Rocket? Or is this your first time hearing about it? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into forgotten cartoons, make sure you stick around because we've got plenty more weird ones to talk about. Rickety Rocket, blast off. Stay minty. Stay fresh. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
And you're at the right place.
What on earth could that mean, Cosmo? Maybe there's a connection between the poem and the monster. Splashdown, stop thinking about food and let's look around.